what's up, all you burner stoners and potheads, and especially all you gardeners out there? This is Mr. Weedman and Big Earl with the Grow Hour. Big Earl, my brother, how the hell are you?
I am doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing great because it's working. Odo, we have you on. Say hi to everybody, Odo.
Far so good. That's why I didn't want to say anything to like jinx that shit, dude.
Yeah, sometimes technical difficulties happen, my brother. Sometimes it happens. So we're super stoked to have you on. We're gonna find out who you are in a second, but let's fucking smoke. Big Earl, what are you smoking on, my friend?
I rolled up a little of the Stanky Glue 10. It's the last time I'm gonna run her. She's got kicked out of the running of the pheno hunt. But she's delicious. And I had a little sour strawberry. I found some old sour strawberry tucked away. And I mean, she's a little old tasting, but she's delicious. What
I
about
I
you?
have we smoked one of your strawberry strains last night. I can't remember which one. I had a nug left of it, and it still fucking smoked good. So,
It might have been
uh,
this one. This is the most recent one I'd had, other
yeah,
than
it's
strawberry Kush breath.
that's whatever strawberry you brought me still tasted good. And I'm smoking on Peachy Keen. Tell us a little bit about Peachy Keen.
Uh, so that was a tester that I did from um, Secret Society Seed Company. He lived right up here, and I was able to go and meet up with him a few times, and he gave me that Peachy Keen test, the Peachy
It's
Keen to
great.
test. Oh, it was so good.
We know our friend
Um,
Wolfman loves making hash out of that Peachy Keen.
yeah, and yeah, and that's what made the peach stank, and
Yeah,
super papaya. It's a papaya parenting. Super like that. That type of flavor comes out in it really
it's
nice.
so good, so good. Odo, what are you smoking on, my friend?
Man, I am smoking on some goodies that Earl made. Believe it's a. Cause I'm pretty savage. I like just taking a lot of strains and throwing it in a jar. But this is, I think it's Drunk Rider 23 and the peanut butter Ove by the taste of it from the old Chunkles.
Nice,
They're being
nice.
a snobby connoisseur of it. Like,
I love it. I love it. And what are you smoking out of?
oh, that's a fun pipe I made. Little Sherlock. I was looking around the shop and I was just like, man, fuck it, let's do a freshie. Let's just for the show. Super
There
nice.
you go. Salute, my friend. Salute. So we've tried to have record a couple of times and we had some technical difficulties, and now we finally got this working. Even though the volume's a little low, our producer Sam will hopefully be able to get the volume up on you a little bit, but we're recording, which is great. So we know the computer's working this time, so which is awesome. So let's get started. Who the fuck is Odo? Who are you, man? And when did you get started smoking? Have you ever grown some weed? And when did you start blowing glass, buddy? So tell us about when you started. Who the fuck are you?
Well, let's start with the have I ever grown weed? Fuck yeah, definitely have. I grew up in the day and age of when fucking weed was treated like Nazi Germany. Or like if you had a seed, they're just gonna fucking try to kill you about it. I'm so happy nowadays things are different. It's a medicine. It's people need it. Um, fucking what else was the other question? So one, have I grown weed? What else we got in there?
When did you start smoking?
I like 12 or 13 years old.
Oh, you and I got something in common.
Yeah, my dad was definitely one of the good old boys of like one of those guys where just the party never stopped. You know what I mean? He grew up in the 70s and 60s and shit, so he just um, yeah, I've been smoking forever, man, and I love it. It's I've been arguing with my family like um, back in the day when everybody's shitty about it. It's like, dude, this was my medicine. It helps me chill out. My brain feels like it's I'm watching a freeway and trying to read license plates
There you go.
with some nougats.
We love all our fucking strains for that reason only, as medicine, as making us feel better, having a good time socially, at home, whatever. I mean, I'm part of the bad back club too. It helps my back. So I get it, man. Medicine is key right there. And weed is from the fucking angels and from fucking up above in nature. So we got to use it. So you've been blowing glass. So when did you get your start? So you're basically Odo Glass. So if anybody doesn't know this, we're talking, today's subject is glass, glass, glass with Odo Glass. And you're down in Springfield now. But
Yep.
how'd you get your start?
Well, I have background in mechanical, structural and electrical engineering. I'm a master welder. And at a certain point in my life, I was like, you know what? If you're not working on your dream, you're working on somebody else's. So fucking get busy living on your life or you're just busy dying. And well, long story short, so I was like, I'm going to become a tattoo artist. And I did. Did it a little bit when I was down in Iraq. And I did. I became a tattoo artist, doing that for years. And then when I moved out to Montana, I got the chance to. This little shop down the street from my fucking apartment had a live glass blowing and lessons thing. I was like, no shit. So I finally got a hold of the owner and I showed him like my portfolio of my art and stuff. And he was like, bro, we're going to get your ass in here. You got some hands. Like, I know you can fucking, like, fuck yeah. Like, give me 24 to 48 hours. And boom, yeah, no joke. 2 days later, I was in there making shit and like, after about a couple of days, it looked like I've been blowing glass like 6 months because the whole tattooing and welding, really the whole learning curve of it made it way easier for me because I'm used to dealing with stabbing somebody at Mach 9 that's permanent, so your workmanship better be on the ups, and same thing with welding. So I wasn't afraid of the flame, and I like making stuff. So I just jumped right in, and it's just been a ride ever since. And just like before, I do what I do because I love it, not because of the money. And people pay you because they see that passion. And that's when I just essentially stopped tattooing professionally, and I just do friends and family now. And I've started blowing glass full time. I sent in like I think it was like 6 or 7 grand that I spent like immediately. Like
You took it from a hobby and went into full blown Odo Glass mode.
Yeah, yep. Like because it's such an awesome fucking medium of what you can do. As long as you can sit there and reverse engineer it or have the workmanship and consistency of what you want to do, you can make anything. Is it going to be practical? Maybe not, depending on what you're trying to build. But it's fun as fuck. Like, it really is. It's a spirit mirror, and it's a wonderful meditation. And it's helped save my life a bunch of times, honestly.
Show that piece of glass that you were just smoking out of.
Oh, this guy?
Thanks.
Yeah.
Guy?
One of the coolest things, because I've been in the Boro Studios and took one of your classes with my whole family, and one of the coolest things, and you already even like kind of touched on it, was the creativity of the space and just how fun everything was. It was music constantly. There's art. The whole thing is art. There's not one thing you can look at that's not like painted or has like a funny sticker.
And
or
we
like,
don't. I really don't ever want to put limitations on my students, and it's so corollary. The reason I love glass so much is that it's corollary. Like, all the things that we're seeing are that simple. It's only us that confuse it and make it complicated. And glass really just slaps it in your face into a joke where I feel like Chevy Chase is about to dick punch me. It's so fucking ridiculous. Because when I'm telling my students, if it's hot, it moves. If it's cold, it doesn't. And you'll still see somebody being like, how come it's not moving? And I'm like, because it's not hot.
lesson number one. Really let's go back to that.
Fun medium.
Yeah. So,
sorry, go ahead.
Nope, go ahead, Earl.
I was gonna say a cool story that you told me was, or just that I thought was interesting, was your transition to Boro Glass. You were out in, I think you already said Utah. How did you? Montana. Yeah, sorry. How did you get to Boro?
Pardon?
How did you get to Boro Studios in Springfield, Illinois?
Well, so I don't know. I already knew from like tattooing and just life in general. Like, you're gonna go get some. If you need answers, go ask fucking questions. Like, go and find people that have the answer, and get the fuck in there. And well, real early on, I was able to start kicking it with some of the OGs. Like, I got invited out to go work with Marcel Braun at his studio and helped with Project 33. And in short, to get to your question of how I got to Boro, working with Marcel in the Project 33 program, we went on tour and did a whole bunch of millie polls at different locations across the country, and this was one of them. And after I got done doing that tour, I got invited back out because they pull color tubing, like we make raw color, line tubing and color itself. That's what these boxes are behind me. And over here, I know there's some knuckles. I came out here to work with Joe, and I did some crucible tube pulling. And then after that, like, me and Joe were just lifetime friends. And then as time went by, he was rebuilding the dynasty, and he was just like, "Dog, I need you to come out here and manage this place." So then I came from Montana to here to answer that.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You ready to geek out a little bit? We're ready to geek out a little bit and talk some glass. So I don't know shit except how to smoke out of glass. So I got to watch my wife blow a one time, but I still don't know shit about it. So this is going to be great for me because I'm ready to geek out with you a little bit. But before I ask you some of these questions, how does glass what's the base to make glass? Is it sand?
Here, 1 second. The oxygen's about to purge. Can you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll cut off in just a second. And in fact, let me grab some examples, and that way I can show you some stuff real quick.
Cool. So while he's grabbing some samples, Earl, show everybody the pendant that you got to make.
Yeah. This was such a cool class.
You took a class of his, right?
Yeah, it was so dope. So it was me. I got it for my mom's birthday. It was her gift, and it was me and her, and then my siblings. 6 of us total. And there's a few people, I think, that work in the same studio and work with Odo. And a friend of his and himself, all 6 of us made a piece at the same time. So I made this pendant. My sister made a little octopus. It was. I mean, it's like our first time going, so nothing's gonna be perfect. But it was like you could tell it was a freaking octopus, And then my brother and my brother-in-law made an antler. Yeah, all in one session. It was about 4 or 5 hours long, and it was like a class. When he was teaching the class, it made me think of us talking about growing because it was just like a total geek out on the class, like it was so fun and fascinating, and like everything was super, super cool about it.
Well, nice. What you're saying, like I try to make it fun. I try to make it interactive, and
yeah, we're gonna talk about classes in a bit. But while you were away, I just wanted to hear Earl's story about the pendant. So show us like the base. Like, what's the base of like when you take that out of the cauldron or the kiln? You take what's that goes in that fire to make that liquid, right? Because glass turns into liquid when it's heated, right?
So glass is a base of silica or sand. Okay. And now just to simplify it so we don't geek out too, because we could sit here for a minute. Like I'm a giant nerd. You got to think about it like fireworks. Okay. Each color is now from different metals. Okay. Cadmiums are going to create a lot of more of your crayon colors and stuff like that to break it down. And essentially what you have is a like metal particulate that's surrounded by the silica, creating a color. But that's on a molecular level. And essentially those different colors are refracting differently because of the material, which is now creating the color.
Okay. So what are the different types of glass?
Well, the 2 main ones that you are going to see are soft glass and borosilicate. The main difference is COE, the coefficients of expansion, just a fancy way of saying density, to put it simply.
Yeah, I understood density.
Now that creates a compatibility. Now, as a good example, quartz is COE is 0. So that's why those bangers can just take so much like intensity to it.
Yeah, because some of those people are running hot fucking.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Why? Because the molecular structure of that, the crystalline, it's so strong. That's why quartz is used for so many different applications. It's ridiculous. It's amazing stuff.
What type is used in most glass cannabis pieces and bongs and and
Oh,
and,
that's
and
Boro.
rigs?
You're seeing a lot
Boro.
of Boro. If anything, you're seeing some, unless you see like a special K kind of bong. Those are soft glass, but most of the 99.999% of headies that I've seen are Boro.
Okay. And then I know your kilns are pretty close to you, right? How like how
We have a
hot?
large facility. We'd have to do it. That's where I wish we had a better setup with this with my phone. I could do a walkthrough. We have quite a huge facility.
Maybe on if we come back for burp in the bag or a roundtable discussion, you could take some video and then you could send it to my producer and we can add that to the end so people could see pictures and stuff.
Yeah, it's either that or we could try you doing it on Earl's phone next time because you guys are
Yeah,
getting a better connection with that. So,
that'd be dope. What are some of the temps you're dealing with though? Like how hot is hot? Like what the fuck? How hot is can it get?
oh, lava dick's hot, bro. We're getting lava dick's hot. So, when no, dude, it's raging, dude. Like,
I believe it. If it's lava dick hot, fuck, I'm
we're doing
scared.
soft glass. We put the pot up to like 2,300. So when you open the lid of
Sheesh.
that thing, it is just a big old pot of lava dicks. You can just dip right into it, and you can gather up. Soft glass is a bit different. Boro, it's actually even higher with that. So yeah, for the malleability, you start at 1,100 is when glass is more starts to become malleable or moving. As you start to increase the temperature, she starts to yeet around a lot better. Um, yeah, but you're talking like 3,200 when you're really getting Boro moving.
How do you get it that hot? Like what? I mean, I know you got to use gas, right? You got to use gas line.
So,
I,
triple mix torch, it's the air pressure because you're with the GTT or with when you're really getting gas going like that, you have 40 psi of oxygen and like 15 of propane. So there's already 60 psi punching, and essentially that's carrying the heat. Glass is an insulator; it's not a conductor, so it's only going to take 10% of the energy at a time, like somebody handing a sandbag off to the other person. So it takes a minute for it to cascade to where it can get into the core. Once all is up to the same temperature, it will be super movable. Where that's where you can jump rope it, pull stringers across the entire shop.
oh shit, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So in your studio, do you have to keep the humidity low? Does it affect it at all? Any of the methods you do? Do you have to keep like low humidity in your room?
This isn't like growing on that level. The only time I think humidity would come into play if you were being a huge nerd about it is when you're doing fuming. Because when you take gold and silver, bismuth, platinum, you can now atomize it by igniting it and fuming it like spray paint on the inside of or outside of glass. That's how you're getting some really amazing colors that are just like stupid awesome. I love fume. It's super cool.
Nice, nice. I'm excited about your burp in the bag episode that we do. That would be the episode where we'd definitely have to get Earl down there, like we did with Wolfman, and we did it. Where Earl filmed you doing blowing glass and
That'd be cool.
explaining each technique. I think we need something like that, Earl. So that'd be dope as fuck. So
It
go
would
ahead,
be
Earl.
cool. Yeah, no, it would be super dope. You'd be able to see like what he's talking about, like changing the oxygen and the propane and stuff, and the different flames, and doing all the different shit on there.
Shit, maybe I
It'd be
even come
awesome.
down for that one.
Yeah,
We have a setup set up.
dude, it'd be
Come
cool.
on down. Like that's where, and there's an endless amount of stuff that I could show or do on that kind of stuff. Like each week we can do
Those
something. I'm totally down.
Oh yeah.
It's fun
those
stuff showing
colored
it.
rods you were talking about before, is that what's called prep work? Like when somebody buys prep work in the glass world and they're gonna make like a bong, they buy that's what they're calling
So
prep work, the colored pipes.
yeah. So as an example, this is a pipe.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
Get the
Man,
light
I should
down
have.
here.
didn't even bring your pieces in here. I should have done
Oh,
that.
we see it perfect, Odo, right
Yeah, that's
there.
cool.
Oh yeah. That coloring is fucking amazing.
This is all
How do you get the designs like that?
so you got to be a king wook. I'm just kidding. All right. So no. So
Level.
this is made out of line tubing that we made, and all put together, and it's 4 different sections: 1, 2, and 3, and 4 for the mouthpiece.
That's pretty sweet.
Let me grab another chunk real quick.
Yeah, Earl, we definitely got to do a show there.
This is a larger chunk of dichro line tubing.
Look at that fucking thing. So did you make that first?
No, dude, we have. That's where I have like. That's, you got to do the burp in the bag thing here. We walk around and it's we full send that.
There's a ton of fucking
There's
glass
so
in
much
there, bro.
color here. Like this is like a
Yeah.
Willy Wonka chocolate factory.
Oh, hell yeah.
Working as an artist.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, we make that. So that's one thing that we make, and these are actual different colors that we've made. Here, let me set this down.
That's a big rod.
This is a. We got this guy. That's our green gack.
Dude, the whole room. And then you don't see the other side of the room that's also lined in this color.
We got, all these are different colors. So it's like as if you were a painter with a palette.
Oh, that's fucking great way to explain it. A painter with a palette. I love it.
It's cool. Even making this pendant, I think I showed it pretty close before, but even making this pendant, all that color in there was all those different colored rods, right, way smaller than the ones he was showing. And it was cool. There's a lot of color. What was that thing? You had a video climbing up a staircase. Was that part of that process, pulling like the rod like that?
So that is when the stairs are essentially when you're pulling larger tubing. So that way you can use the gravity to your advantage. And yeah, that's what that picture is. That was one of the times when I was telling you when I came back out and pulled the tubing. Just I was here for like 2 weeks, just sitting there like 12, 13 hours in a day, just at the glory hole cranking, raging the glass. And dude, it's a wild experience. Like,
so you call it the glory hole?
Yes, I did not make it up.
Well, so what starts off at the pee hole then, and what's the pie hole? And since that's called the glory hole, so what do you call the other two then?
Bro, because the work gets done there at that jammy, and it's definitely not in a bathroom in Tennessee, I tell you. But dog, when you're standing in front of that shit, you're gonna be like, "Yo, dog, this is definitely a glory hole," because you're getting sucked off by a dragon. Like, it is fierce, and like you'll know if you fucking love this or not, dude. I've watched people, especially when you're doing soft glass and large work, and you open up the doors for a large glory hole, homie. It's like no joke, getting sucked off by a sun. Like, cause it's just like, it fucking gets you. So real quick, these are the other sections of that. Like before you twist it, and then that's one of them where it is twisted, so you can see the difference before it's like worked.
Oh, okay.
Damn. Yeah, that's cool as fuck.
Just like that bigger one, this was a larger tubing, and you pull them all down.
Would somebody buy that specific little piece from you ever, or would they buy a tube and then make that little specific piece?
So we sell the line tubing and the color, and yeah, whatever they do with it is what people do with it.
Yeah.
Their vision is what they have planned for that, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
The main thing is just making it reliable, or consistent. So.
When you do those big pulls on the stairs or any big pulls, what are the cauldrons in there? That's where it all starts, right? You had the huge ass one, and then you had a ton of little ones, and you were kind of talking how you guys could dip it like a candle.
The last time I did it was with borosilicate, dude, and that's where it takes a lot of heat to be able to rage that. And but yes, each one of those would be a different color, and what you can then do is layer it, and that's when you. I could go into there's a whole lot of colors where essentially you're dipping them over each other. So you could do a white with like a striker, blue stardust over the top of white, or we do like day glow sparkle over white. There's different mixtures that you could do that come out with a palette because you now fade them together and you get these really amazing colors. Especially now, once you blow them out and you put light to them, it's just one of a kind pieces.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I just remember they're like, I call them cauldrons. What did you call them again? I'm sorry. What are they called?
The crucibles.
Crucibles. Yeah, they're basically like these giant thick ass steel or whatever
No, they're
bowls.
Kevlar, so they're
There you
I
go.
don't know the exact makeup, but they're a mixture of Kevlar and ceramic, and they can take ridiculous temperatures.
And you heat under them, kind of, and then the glass.
Yep. And then you just throw your ingredients in there, and bam, it's just now having like a fondue pot, but like fucking from hell.
Yeah, it was cool. There were a lot of them. There were a lot of the smaller ones, and then that one was freaking huge.
Yeah, so we got 100-pounders, 10-pounders, essentially. That way you're not everybody has that amount of glass, so that's why they make different size crucibles. Because, dude, 100 pounds of glass, woo, boy, like
That's a big one.
it's a lot to be messing with. Like, you better have a project.
I love that Earl called it a cauldron. He was fucking wanting to make some potions and spells and shit.
This thing going though, because it does, bro. It's something magical. Like I need a fucking Gandalf hat stat.
Yeah,
Because
you can make one. Glass Gandalf.
What's the like the biggest misconception about glass? I'm so curious. Like I said, I love watching it. I remember going to Disney when I was a kid, young, probably like 5, 6 years old. And I remember at Disney World, they had you go to Disney Village, and they had the whole glass blowing store.
Yeah.
And that's where I got my first experience about watching someone blow glass. And I was so intrigued. My dad had to come and like grab me away because it was a line. You could watch them.
Yeah.
And I watched them make my mom's though. She got the fucking chariot. But dude, it's so intricate how they fucking made that glass so skinny, and they did the fucking little swirlies, and they added gold to it, but how intricate like those motherfuckers can get to do, like unreal. Like
it's just practice, man. Just like anything else. And the beautiful part about that is now it takes the physical gesture, like, to do it, and that's where the craftsman and artistry to it is like premium. It's what's the Point Break or whatever, where it's like, I'm trying to find that edge, man. That's if you're trying to find the front line of art and Buddhism, bam, there go glass, found it.
So with that misconception though, with glass, before we even get into that, how many times have you broke a piece that made you so mad that like you were in your zone and all of a sudden crack?
Oh, tons of times, man. That's where I love glass, because it reinforces the simple fact of like we have to invest ourselves wholeheartedly and not be surprised if it blows up in our face. Like, don't have your heart broken for trying. Like, you have to, and that's what's desperately necessary to manifest the most beautiful thing from yourself, is having that pure energy of just making it and not having this outcome dependency on it. And it's now finding this level of freedom within that.
Love it. So what's the misconception then with glass?
I'm trying to find a way or how to answer that. What would be the average answer, like, thing that people mess with? I think it's just now the simplicity. Let's say that they overcomplicate it, and I call it their wizard thoughts, because they're like, okay, I think I know how this is made. And then, they try their thing, and it's some crazy roundabout thing when it's like, dude, you could do this. But it's essentially like somebody who doesn't know machining parts, they're not going to know the process or ways that we have figured out to do that, or mechanically can do it, is my point.
Gotcha.
So until you understand the medium and the tools, you're going to have a lot of misconceptions of how you get to where you're going. I think that would be the biggest misconception people have.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's Occam's razor. It's so obvious and in front of you. It's ridiculous.
So when you're creating something, do you have it in your head what you're creating, or do you actually draw a picture of it and get like logistic on the paper first, or you just
it's definitely way better to have a plan. If you're just driving around in the ocean with your boat, you're not going to get to any destination. You're just blitzing around. So you definitely got to have a destination. You got to chart a course. So yeah, definitely have a design. And yeah, there's a little bit of mixture of free form to where it's like it's going to change up a little bit, but it's definitely best to have a plan and um, sort of like a scientist, because you're now trying to make you're reducing the variable to where it's like you know exactly what's going to happen, and the one thing that you're messing with is that like the one thing that you're experimenting with. If you try to just do all experimenting, bro, you're gonna end up with some fucking weird shit.
How do you blow glass within glass? Like you've seen those rigs now, they're so intricate and so crazy. Some of those dab rigs, like
Right
they're
there is what I got the previous answer, the misconception, or the how is that? How do you even get to that point? You're having a wizard thought right there. Like,
yeah, I'm stoned now. I'm really I wait to get stoned. I don't get stoned before the show. So now I'm all high and geeked out, so I'm
yeah,
ready.
no. That's where just wait till you come down and you're gonna be like, you're fucking kidding me, right? You're just gonna look over at me like we're at some kind of concert with fucking that's just off the wall.
You were talking about
That's how it feels. It's like jet skis with fire, man. Like it's such a fucking great time, especially when you look to your left and your right and your homies are getting it too. It's like a snowboarding video from the 80s or some shit, gleaning the cube or some shit. Like, it's a really fucking awesome time.
you were talking about the direction with the glass, and when I in that class, the direction was super easy because what I do is he was talking about lava dicks before. I burn my piece until it started melting, and I just there's a few magic words. Odo was a good word that got me back to where I needed to be. Go, Odo, and he'd run over and he'd shape it back, and okay, yeah, I'm doing great now. Or Dylan, that was the other instructor there. Hey. That was pretty much.
I feel like the fucking genie from Aladdin at that point, like where I'm just like,
Odo's dying of sweat. There's 3 people yelling his name. Everybody's piece is melting a little weird, but at the end of the day, we learned so much. It was super fun, and everybody's shit was so dope. Like that was the craziest part. Like this stuff was really good. I can draw like when you play Hangman. Sometimes my stick figures don't look right.
Yeah, me too.
Like I can't draw
100%.
shit.
Me too.
But I was able to, it was really fun being able to do that.
well, that's the difference too between drawing and really making something in 3D space. That's why one of our beginner classes is a structural class where you're now just taking punty and making different parts and watching somebody now build 3D instead of like something flat. Like you just see their brain turn different. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, it's so different with this, and it doesn't even make sense if you don't do it. I don't think. But with this, the craziest thing is you don't put any of that color like in there. You put it on there, and then you like melt the glass over it. And it was like a really fucking hard concept for me. I was like, man, like, but that it was like it was, it was just like I was like, I would have never thought that. You would think you'd look at something like that and you just be like sticking color into it or something, but it was like, melting over.
It makes me think of being a kid and learning like fucking magic tricks. And when you like see how the magic trick is done, you're gonna be like, "Get the fuck out of here! Really?
Yeah.
It's some stupid thumb that you jag a rag out of, you piece of shit motherfucker!" Like,
no, it is.
And it's just that kind of funny and silly. I feel like it's a Penn and Teller thing with fire and art all the time.
Yeah. What you talked about a misconception a second ago. For me, I can say my biggest misconception coming from a dude who's broken a bunch of glass. I've broken way more glass than I have. You know what I mean? But was that
That's why you don't have that much glass.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And you one time you were talking to me about because I brought you a few pieces to fix, and you were like, I was telling you that how basically how I was ashing my pieces is why you thought my pieces were breaking, because just because you don't see little fractures, just because you don't see little nicks, just because you don't see this stuff doesn't mean the glass isn't weakening. And so if you're constantly like cashing a bowl out on something hard like a wooden table or a glass ashtray or anything hard.
Yeah, I call that shock damage. You guys ever heard of a polariscope?
Yep.
I have not.
So essentially, they have a lens. I'm trying to remember.
I've heard of it, but I couldn't tell you right now what it is.
It's the same. It's like a similar. I'm trying to remember the name. I'm fucking ripped. Whatever. Moving onward. It does the same thing as the glasses do, but you're now when you look at the glass, glass, you can see the stress in it, just like you would in a topographic map.
That's the one thing I never understood. I never did this because I thought it was stupid. But watching my buddies pound their bowls on their glass window or their glass oneies on their window, and I'm like, "You're gonna crack your window, or you're gonna fucking break that?" It's fine. I've been doing it for years. I'm like, okay, no, I'm like,
Whenever I try to educate people on that, and I tell them glass never forgets. Like until you anneal it, essentially take it to the cleaners and put it in a kiln and align the molecules again. And this is like where the metallurgy or blacksmith level of glass is like that, where you can now bring the glass back together in alignment, so that way the stress is out of it.
Wow.
So don't ever be smacking it and stuff like that. Be gentle to it, like.
So if you have a super heady piece, right? You drop it, it doesn't break. Would it still be a good idea to go to a glass artist or somebody who has a kiln and maybe like fix the something that you might not be seeing?
Well, you got to think about it like durability points for a weapon or equipment in Diablo. Okay, when a master level craftsman makes an object, the durability points are higher. So each time you whack it, the durability points go down. So you get some time with it. Like if you have that heady capacity to just roll up in somewhere and dry clean your headies like that, like dude, rock on, all the power to you. Like yeah. You could do that, like, but it should be good for a while. Like that's where then after you clean it and then bring it, anneal it, and should be fine.
Yeah, I didn't know. I remember when you told me that, I was like, man, that kind of. I'm a fan of like the old school ashtrays. They're usually glass, like a real thick glass, or maybe a metal. And that's like probably why most of my shit was just like, oh, that just like crumbled in my hands eventually.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
Like like it was always me doing something stupid. It never was like literally like crumbled in my hands like sand, but it was always like a tap, and I was like, wow, that seemed really light.
I always do it in my hand, or I just have like one of those bowls where I have the like the little pokey.
Yeah, I always have a lighter bro with me. So my lighter bro, this is my lighter bro right here. Everything you need, and then I always have my little pokey.
Lighter?
Yeah, it's called a lighter bro, and it has my little pokey in there. But clean it out. I don't want to break my fucking. I
have a pile of pipes though, because I'll smoke out of it and I'll be like, all right, time for a new one. So I just have a whole big pile like a dragon of
yeah, I take care. I've broken one piece in my time of smoking, and I cried, not literally, but I was sad because I was like, I had the thing for like 5 years, and I finally broke. I dropped it like an idiot.
So the last piece that I had was from my buddy McDougal Glass. It was this really beautiful apple bottom Sherlock, and it fucking fell out of my pocket, and I knew I should not have taken it out on the town. And dude, it just fell and it hit the ground, dude. And yeah, dude,
what's Earl asked, "What's an apple bottom Sherlock?"
So, I'm trying to. So, Dan McDaniels. There's a guy that did, and I'm sad that I can't remember his name right now, but he did this poster. He did just a whole bunch of traditional tobacco pipe shapes. That's where the Sherlock comes from. You know, it's where we're now emulating a lot of tobacco pipes.
Oh, okay.
Reason being is the way the airflow is. You don't want the air to get stale. If you're making a really heady pipe, this is where my connoisseurism of a pipe goes fucking to douche canoe levels. Like, we're like boss level S class. Like, because you want that smoke to clear out really nice. You don't want it to be stale, and
so it's a pipe, right? You're saying apple bottom Sherlock pipe?
It's a silhouette, or like so. Oh,
okay, I see it.
Yeah, cavalier is another shape or style. So if you could even just Google Sherlock shape list.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I've never thought about design of a pipe doing that, but there are for sure pieces that I will clear out like I smoke, and before I take another hit, I will blow through it to clear it out and smoke it again.
So
because of that.
If your pipe is made right, when you let go of the carb, it should clear all the smoke, and it shouldn't be like pulling more in.
That's cool.
Yeah.
because of the hole size. But that's on
Yeah.
you're talking Bernoulli principle at that time of high pressure and low pressure. But essentially, like that's part of the fun. That's where I geek out on when I'm making pipes. Like I'm trying to make like this high performance piece, even though it's like proto, because I know it's a tool somebody's going to use for their medicine and help change the world a bit, so somebody's a little bit happier and they don't
Yeah.
fucking lose their shit.
Dude, even I've had a few of your pieces, even like the bowls that you pop a ton out of, that you have like a ton of just dope ass, these fat ass cool bowls that remind me of like what people were smoking in high school. Like I fucking love them. They're so durable and they hit so nice. Like the whole, I don't know, the whole piece is nice. Um, but I never thought about like that. They're actually like designed a different way to make them so fun, so much better to
Well,
smoke.
because you're thinking about like the volume inside of it, and then now it's just going to change like the aromatics. It's almost like wine if when you're talking about good tobacco. Like,
Love it.
Oh yeah,
Love it.
we uh we had an episode a long time ago with a buddy Dave. He worked at a head shop up here, and one of the things that we tried to kind of like connect weed to with the head shop, because like they're like coexisting industries, you know, like there a lot of glass, a lot of the head shops in general, like it's like I don't know if you hippie weed, whatever you want to call it. Do you see like when we talked with him, basically he said that like the cannabis industry would affect a lot of times, like when things were booming, when it was Croptober, when it was different times of the year and seasons, they were selling way, way more, which like for Christmas and stuff, you'd think of at least a little bit. But do you see or notice a difference like in people like buying or in your industry based off of the cannabis industry ever or its
um,
rotations?
I I wouldn't be able to say anything on that really because it's like I'm in constant contact with people. Like where it's like sister brother kind of companies.
Yeah. Do you see sales go up like October, November, December? Do you think, or is that just a
No,
no question?
that's where
No.
I
Yeah.
try not. I don't focus on like my sales and stuff like that. I'm really
Yeah.
more focused on just creating. What am I doing? Because it's like let me put it like this. I've now learned the English language. Now, what what are you going to say that's poignant? What fucking amazing thing that's prolific? But I'm now doing that with glass because I've
Yeah.
learned now how to do it, and you're now I'm finding myself more as an artist. So it's like that's really the journey, and I don't really like I said, I'm doing this because I love it, not because the money. And
Yeah.
luckily now people pay me for it. like,
Hell yeah.
so
That's good.
I
That's
don't know.
fucking awesome. You offer classes because Earl's talked about it and I love it. So what classes do you offer? Like what kind of what do you do to offer classes? Do you do like a 1-day class? Do you do a few day class? Do you do like a whole session of series of classes? And
So right now we have a syllabus for 5 beginner classes, which is a bead, structural, sculptural, pendant, and marble. And this is just the syllabus that I've come up with. That each one of these hold fundamentals, and it's a good start or a direction to launch somebody off of at the harbor of art per se, because it's an airplane crash pamphlet of information. It's very similar to welding, where it's like I can give you all the craftsmanship and technical information here. The rest of this is your experience and being able to do it. And we have a 1 hour class for that. That's for people that want to just like dip their toe in the water, and then I also have an extended class where it's more than an hour. We were doing like 2.5 hours, three. Gives people way more time to sit there and play around.
sweet.
Also, I give you more information as well. We also are going to be having our soft glass area set up soon, so we'll be doing soft glass classes coming up soon.
Nice.
And soon enough, we already do like advanced or one-on-one classes with people too. So I don't know, just come hang out.
How many people come per class? And like, what do you charge? What's your pricing?
So the basic 1 hour class is $100. The extended class is $125. And they, like I said, they run an hour or like the hour plus for the
Oh,
extended.
cool. So they,
You
they
can
go
have
about
up to
that
6
long.
people.
Yeah, 6 is the max for a group class. We got to get more torch locations, and also I'm trying to get some more assistance with that because, like Earl was saying, when you have a whole bunch of people over here, like, hey, you know,
It's melting. Yes, it's melting.
I'm not some like just super. Like, you gotta be a sadist to sit there
Turn
and be
down the
like,
oxygen.
"Here, try with your dreams with this fire." Go, and I'm not gonna assist you now. Like, dude, like, you have to be a really cruel person. So when my students are like, "Hey, okay, okay, let's jump on over," because all that needs is just a little bit of guidance on it, and you want to get them back into it. You really try not to be the teacher that's like, "No, give me the pencil. Like, I'm doing the math for you now." Like,
Yeah.
you try not to do that.
Except for when it's melting off the end of your stick or whatever. let me get that real quick.
Oh, the punties, yeah, dude, it's funny. Just it's when you're watching somebody do, like, especially as a group, that's where it's a riot. It's like bumper cars, but with art now. Because when you're watching somebody try to physically do this, it's like, oh yeah, you said you're a pogo stick master, huh? Like, where's all that shit now, bro? Looking all fucking retarded, like, yeah. Like, it's really humbling, and it's I also love the peace of mind that you get from doing that because you're now so zoned into it. It's jacking into that flow state. Like, it's great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Cool.
So what did we miss? Yeah, what did we miss? What do we need to say about glass for class number 1? You know, for until the burp in the bag.
I love the community though of how each one, the glass community and the cannabis community, all the real cats are just the fucking coolest people in the world. Um, Always so friendly, like, and the the information exchange of all this. It's been really fun seeing this whole thing grow along the way. I definitely haven't been blowing glasses. A lot of the people that I look up to, like the glass industry has changed a lot, just as much as the weed community. But I just love how people can come together with it, and it's
Name
shit.
name a couple of the glass blowers that you admire.
Well, all major ups to Matt Dubois, Rad Glass. He's over in Bend, I think, right now. He's one of the cats that really helped teach me a lot. Super cool homie. Same thing with Brandon Welk. He's over in Spokane. Um, God, I miss him. But he helped teach me a lot too. Um, both legit, like, super awesome cats. And it's such an interesting medium once and how you're communicating and dealing with people. And that's where doing soft glass is. I can't wait to get that part of our studio going because now with Boro, it's a one of you can do it solo, sit there and play like a video game. But with soft glass, I think it's way more fun with a team of people. And when you're sitting there moving around with hot material like that, and you have that trust and understanding of what's going on, it looks like a dance, and I don't know, it's magic. It's cool. It's like when you're in a band and you're playing together and you're jamming and it's just fucking killing it. It's like, it's fun as shit.
Those
Nice.
glass competitions online where people are like taking big ass clumps of glass in and out, and then somebody's got like a big glove under it, and they're moving it here, and somebody's blowing in over here. Is that soft glass? Is that what you're talking about?
So that's the representation you're talking about is Blown Away. That's that series on Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that is
I thought
cool.
the 4th season was good. The first ones were like, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be cool.
What before we end it, give me something like what was one of the favorite pieces, or how long did one of your favorite pieces take you to make?
Bro, there's no way I can answer that because the time that I've put into this, homie, like absurd. People would, if I were, dog, I'm doing this 15 hours a day.
But every artist has a piece that like wowed them. Like that was the piece and you've made a lot of pieces for 15 years, I presume. But what was like that piece
No,
that
I've only been
wowed?
doing the last like 6 or 7 years now.
Okay. So what was that one piece that you made that went, holy fuck, this is the piece? Or you haven't been there yet?
So my most favorite one was my buddy Bowman Glass. A homie of his had cancer, and they needed some more money for him. And when I saw that, and like I saw my homie in such distress, I was like, dog, let's fucking get down. Like I'll come out there and let's just make some pieces. And we sat there in 3 days, and I just stayed at his place. We made 3 different pieces. Each cab was like 400 plus dots, and then more. Like essentially, within that, I had a great time making those with him. Like, and the reason for it, and like I said, it's just fun being able to kick it with your homies. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like it's the fucking meme where it's like, I just want to hang out with my homies and do hood rat shit. Like, I'm the fucking embodiment of that, man. Like.
Odo, it's been a pleasure, my friend. Tell us where we can find you at. Website, emails, Instagram. How do they get a hold of you so they can come down and learn or buy some glass from you, or check you out, come down and see you, take a class or 2 or 3?
All right, well, you can find me on Instagram or Facebook with Odo Glass, ODO_glass. That's pretty. You order me drunk at Denny's, like Odo. You got me. Got that. I'm mainly on Instagram. I haven't been on social too much. I've been working really hard at going with this company, making glass, and also trying to be an independent artist and a teacher at the same time, and a dad. And just trying to be a human being in general. Like,
aren't we all?
yeah. So, but then the Odo Glass Studios here is in Springfield, Illinois, and you can find us on. You just Google us, and real simple.
Sweet, I love it, man.
There was something though with the glass that we miss. I just thought of. You didn't tell him your CalMag trick.
What?
The CalMag, when you take the calcium, magnesium, and then you just kind of like sprinkle it on the piece, and then it just puffs into whatever you're thinking of. No, I'm just fucking. It's just stupid. It's just a stupid joke.
I was just like, damn, bro. It's like,
you never used CalMag before in your fucking studio when you were growing weed? You never used CalMag before?
No, man. No.
Ah,
oh, no.
Shit.
I'm going to tell you something right now. Everybody out there in the world, don't forget the CalMag. Peace! Check out our cannabis lifestyle brand online at 8decades.com. Our custom smokes and accessories are perfect for your coffee table, bedroom nightstand, or kitchen counter. They're designed for you to show them off. The Canna community is also loving our hemp and cotton blend t-shirts, sweatshirts, scarves, and hats, finished off with our 8 Decades logo. We've got some awesome, long-lasting goods that will be your favorite for years to come. 8 Decades, because a 9th decade of cannabis prohibition isn't acceptable.